What I have anecdotally suspected for many years now is that television cop dramas like CSI, NCIS, Law and Order, shit like that, I think they're all just pro-police propaganda. They make police look like some handsome, slick superheroes that they aren't. They also inflate the perception that everybody is constantly out to murder us. Most of the time they also get the personality of the murderers wrong. They make murderers look like these cold, calculating villains, when in reality most murderers are mentally ill, confused, or just righteously fed up people like myself. But instead these shows present them as intelligent, cunning, calculating villains who lack emotion and they're all out to get us. I needed that insurance money, so I killed him. She made fun of me, so I killed her. He was making me look bad, so I killed him. It's strange that when watching CSI, I haven't watched CSI in years because it's so fucking boring. But when I used to watch CSI, I hardly ever felt anything for the victim. You know, the episode will usually start out with someone being murdered, and I just sit there like it's nothing. There's no emotional investment on my part. It's like no big deal. And I'm assuming it's supposed to be horrifying to the viewer or supposed to evoke some kind of pity for the victim or something, but it's not. I just didn't care. So then they switched to showing the police working to solve the crime, and the police or CSI or whatever the fuck they are, they're depicted as so arrogant, so self-righteous, so verbally abusive, and they behave so much like the bullies at my school behaved. And they're just such a proponents of propaganda where they practically praise all kinds of societal and cultural misconceptions and the oppressive laws that result from these, cultural misconceptions and whatever. That, the police in these TV shows would piss me off. The fact that a bad guy was getting caught in the end of every episode also pissed me off most of the time. Now, how do you make a TV show where, it's centered around the law enforcement? The law enforcement are the main characters and supposed to be the heroes of the show, but instead they piss you off and make you hate them. And you feel nothing for the murdered victim, and you feel like you're just watching some pro-authority and pro-police state propaganda, and the villains and the suspects are the ones that you actually do feel something for, that you feel sorry for. But you see, the developers of these shows, they have to be pro-police state. Otherwise, real police won't cooperate with them and assist them, in the filming of this crap. Like loaning police cars out to them or helping them in research. I remember a TV show called The Shield, where they depicted police as being no better than the gangsters they're meant to bust. And LAPD forbade the actors from wearing real LAPD badges, so they had to wear fake badges on the show, because LAPD wasn't liking that, how they were depicting the police in a very unfavorable light. See, now you see why these shows would have to propagandize police. It's all just propaganda to make you feel as if police are a necessity, that only the police know best, only the law knows best, that everything in your life is the police's business or should be the police's business, and that we need to give more power to the police so they can punish all these people that are out to murder us all the time. Because I don't know. I mean, my co-workers could be out to murder me. Maybe all these YouTubers are out to murder me because I made videos putting them down. Maybe my family members are out to murder me. Oh, if only the police had more surveillance power. If only the CSIs could develop better scientific methods for finding all these bad people scheming to murder us all. If only the Constitution wasn't so restrictive of the investigative powers of police to prevent all these people from murdering the poor innocent me. These TV shows are nothing but fear-mongering bullshit. CSI has constantly made up science just so the crime is solved at the end of the episode. You know, they'll make up bullshit like finding some chemicals under a guy's fingernails that came from water from a sprinkler system that is the only sprinkler system in the city that uses those chemicals. So he must have been at the murder scene when the sprinklers went off. They will make up bullshit like that as if the guy wouldn't have at least once washed his hands in the 3 days after the murder. Oh no. Or they will depict someone who killed somebody still wearing the same shirt with blood splatter on it 3 days later. I remember a really atrocious CSI Miami episode that was nothing but propaganda about video games. Like all the incorrect bullshit things that ignorant people believe about video games was depicted in this one episode. So, in this episode, a video game inspires a bunch of kids to be violent and recreate the crimes in the video game. I mean, then it also shows that the developer of the game refused to tell the cops the synopsis of the game's story because of copyright issues. So, the cops could predict what the next crime would be, which was total fabricated bullshit. They could have, the cops could have found walkthroughs and playthroughs and synopsis of the game on the internet easily, or asked somebody who played it what happens. But instead, it was contrived to make the game developers look evil. Like, look, they wouldn't cooperate with the police even when somebody is murdered. You know, and as far as being evil, maybe they are. I mean, look at what Sledgehammer is doing. But still, you know. And now, I just learned of the worst travesty of all. There's a TV show coming out called CSI Cyber. I mean, you should shudder to think what propaganda and lies that show will spew about internet and cybercrime to make internet look like this evil thing that needs to be repressed and tightly controlled. I bet you this show will advocate that copyright infringement and movie and music file sharing is as evil a crime as murder. Because that's just how these TV shows do it. I mean, I bet you all the NSA spying and surveillance will be depicted as something essential for the government to have as a tool, so terrorism and all these murderers that are constantly out to get us can be stopped. I also imagine it will probably depict a SWAT team raiding a kid's house because he cussed into his microphone while playing Call of Duty, and this will be depicted as a good thing because the kid should be taught a lesson about online etiquette. This show will probably advocate tighter and tighter control of the internet, and it will fearmonger, and it will probably elevate things like cyberbullying, trolling, and just any offensive behavior online toward anyone as some kind of scourge that is equivalent to murder, because somehow it can all lead to people killing each other, that all these things must be dealt with heavy-handedly and by heavier and heavier regulations from the government. So while we fight for a free internet and net neutrality, this show will probably vilify internet to a point where the old gullible idiots who watch this garbage will be calling out to regulate and censor the internet to such an extent that it will be unusable. I mean, every ugly thing that can come out of the internet will probably be magnified by this TV show. It will make it look as if internet is nothing but a cause of death and violence and theft. You know, theft because sharing a movie is exactly like committing burglary in these idiots' minds. And this is what you'll be watching, and this is what they'll be brainwashing people with. And the idiots who watch it, they will be so taken by it, they will think internet is so horrible that it definitely must be censored and restricted and regulated to a point where it's almost unusable. Because that's what these CSI shows do. It's nothing but propaganda. And this CSI Cyber TV show, it's gonna be used to attack the internet. It's gonna be used for nothing else but to attack the internet and vilify the internet. And push the propaganda of the entertainment industries that, you know, file sharing a movie is bad, that file sharing a movie is the same as stealing something or robbing somebody. This is what this show is gonna do.